Hello, we are presenting on the presentation, Opening Up, Building a Digital Commons to Foster University Community Partnerships. I'm Meg McMahon, a white, non-binary individual with brown asymmetrical hair and thick black glasses.
Hi, I'm Jeanine Rodriguez, a mixed-race cisgender woman with shoulder-length jet black hair and thick black glasses. We acknowledge the territory on which Northeastern University stands, which is the land of the Wampanoag and the Massachusetts people. For more information, please visit the links below. Today, we will discuss the design process in creating the commons, user experience and redesign, emerging use cases, and final thoughts. In 2018, the Northeastern University Library saw that the information systems the university was investing in were only available to Northeastern affiliates. The library understood that interdisciplinary research does not happen in a closed-loop system. Thus began the creation of the Northeastern Commons, inspired by the Humanities Commons. The Commons focuses on creating an accessible information ecosystem that fosters collaboration between Northeastern affiliates and the broader global community. On the Commons, users can create and/or join discussion groups based on research, labs, or events, and connect with others interested in similar academic interests or community-based projects. The Commons' first use case in 2018 was the Global Resilience Networks Conference. They use the platform to connect Northeastern affiliates to other researchers and continue conversations after the conference. The College of Professional Studies reached out to us because they saw that they could use this as a platform for their alumni and the Global Campus Network. Northeastern has 9 global campuses across the world. Next, Meg will speak about the start of the redesign process.
Before I was hired, Jeanine was the primary developer for the Commons, and the work she did with our early partners was wonderful. When I was hired, the first UX technique I used to understand the Commons was a heuristic evaluation. A heuristic evaluation is where an evaluator looks at the interface of a product and judges it against usability principles. For this evaluation, I used Nielsen-Norman's 10 usability heuristics for user interface design. In the evaluation, I found users would often experience cognitive overload when using groups, which are vital on the Commons for the peer collaboration. Next, we conducted stakeholder interviews. From those conversations, I created an affinity diagram that was condensed down into the themes you see on the screen now. An affinity diagram is a way to organize ideas, opinions, and issues into themes by grouping like ideas together. This process helped me see the breadth of the goals from our stakeholders at the time. After that, I spoke with users about their impressions, stresses, and successes of using the platform. This was a very small sample size because this research took place in fall 2020. Luckily, I was able to hear from a diverse set of users, including faculty, students, and outside partners. Many of their concerns were of specific technical issues that made it harder for them to complete their goals. For example, the upload size for sharing documents was too small, or non-Northeastern users had problems logging into the platform. Many of these experiences corroborated the heuristic evaluation and pointed to new changes to consider. Next, Jeanine will talk about the redesign.
Even though the original Commons was based off the BuddyPress suite, the core functionality was so restrictive, it limited the services we could provide for our users. When Meg came on board, they noted a lot of the same issues I had come across. After careful consideration, we decided to use the BuddyBoss platform because it offered everything we were looking for in a community-based network, and it replaced the need for a long list of plugins that the original Commons required. As a team, we knew that outside applications are not always built to comply with ADA standards. We hired a student, Vanessa Lee, to do an accessibility audit of both the mobile and desktop version of the new build. Her work has and will continue to help us make the Commons a more inclusive online environment. On this slide, there's a screenshot of the Northeastern Commons homepage. It includes a description of the Commons, an activity feed, a list of groups, a featured group, and a list of featured works by the Northeastern community. Collaboration works through the platform's customizable group features. It uses a combination of features like the activity feed, which works as a historical record of the conversations and happenings in the group, discussion boards, document storage, subgroups, group messaging capabilities, static HTML pages, calendar capabilities, and Zoom meeting integration. Groups have control over the features they use. It allows a tailored experience to fit a user's needs instead of a one-size-fits-all approach to features. Another important feature of groups is the privacy level. A group can choose to be public, private, or hidden. Other than groups, the Commons has a collective activity feed, which works similarly to Twitter. Any groups they are part of is aggregated into that view, and users get a sense of conversations happening in their group spheres. We recognize that the user profiling on the previous Commons was academic focused, which could alienate community members. We want users to feel represented and heard on our platform, and from our conversations with partners, we made sure to make some key changes within the BuddyBoss platform functions. 1, change nickname to display name as, and added user pronouns and titles so users can have control over how they are represented. 2, added projects and press as opposed to just publications. I hand it back to Meg to talk about our emerging use cases.
While the redesign was taking place, I was reaching out to groups on campus that the library departments identified as possible early stakeholders to the Commons. In these initial conversations with partners, I explained the Commons features to them. And then if they were interested, we had conversations about their current information systems and why they were working or not working to identify how the Commons could better serve the user's needs. After that conversation, I created user stories for them to see if I had accurately understood what they had hoped to gain out of the Commons. User stories are informal, general explanations of a software feature written from the perspective of an end user. After iteration of the user stories, we brainstormed on how the partner could use the features of the group. I want to acknowledge that because of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, the onboarding of these groups is taking time because of logistics and our partners' workloads. The timing aside, the use cases are exciting and show the versatility of the Commons model for our campus community. One partner is the community engaged teaching and research. They are using the Commons to sustain ongoing community partnerships after semesterly turnover of service learning TAs and community partners. Service learning is when a course partners with outside community members within their coursework. The group plans to use the Commons to house documents, give announcements, keep track of community partner contacts, and use the discussion feature to build community between service learning TAs and community members. Another partner is the writing program within the English department. They are using the Commons to organize announcements for separate groups of writing instructors and allow for working group collaboration with outside partners. They will also be hosting events online for the writing instructors and inviting community partners into the group for invited talks and follow-up discussions that will take place on the platform. Thirdly, Campus Connections, an initiative within Northeastern Global Experiences Office. Their goal is to create an opt-in space for students studying abroad where they will be able to connect with other Northeastern students studying abroad who are in similar geographic areas. This space will be managed by peer advisors and mostly focus on connections between students. What makes our project unique is that it allows for space for all different types of collaboration as a default. It doesn't assume credentials like many university-provided collaboration tools do. Another important part we want to stress is that we are intentionally building this space so that everyone has as much equal power as possible on the platform regarding creation and privacy. For example, a community member can be an organizer of a group, which gives them power over the settings and privacy of said group, just like a faculty member organizer would have. Furthermore, we won't pretend that we have everything figured out, because a part of providing services or platforms is listening to the users and being open to use cases you could not have possibly thought through because of the natural limitations of teams' perspectives, the early stakeholders, and user interviews. Going forward, we will be listening compassionately to our users and working with them, using collective creativity and user-focused methods to imagine new ways the platform could evolve to better fit our users' needs. Thank you, and we look forward to your questions.